to this week's Taubmans live colour session. My name is Fiona, I'm the Taubmans colour specialist, and we're here tonight to talk all things colour. So tonight's session we are focusing, or we have an emphasis on exterior, and so we talk about exterior colours, projects, etc. But as we always say, look, feel free to pop any questions into the feed as we are moving along. Any questions that you may have regarding interior, exterior, product, projects, etc., certainly colour, and we'll do our best to answer them for you. For the next half an hour, I will be on screen live streaming. Whilst that is happening, can I ask you please to hold off on uploading any photos? If you are wanting some advice with some photos of certain areas, etc., wait until we finish streaming and then pop them into the feed, and I will certainly answer questions for you because we generally hang back for another half an hour or so. So to begin, this week has been fantastic. So we've had a very, very busy week. We've been out and about, but before I start on that, I'd really like to make mention of last week's live colour session. So last week we were very fortunate to have a special guest joining us, which was Carlene Duffy. Many of you would be familiar with her from the blog, etc. Look, it was fabulous talking with her and talking all about colour, projects, etc., and how she, to use her terminology, how she loves to saturate a space with colour, and certainly her love and her use of Colorsmith to bring her projects, etc., to life. So if you haven't had a look at that interview, or you weren't there on the night, you'll see it on Taubmans Australia Facebook page. Just have a look. It was not this session but the last, or you'll find it in our videos and our feeds, etc. Well worth having a listen. She's very insightful, and I love the way that Carlene works with colour, so lots to learn there. Anyway, as I was saying, we've been out and about. So this week, well, this weekend, we were lucky enough to be invited to speak, if you like, down at the Gold Coast. So it was very nice to get some sun, sunny part of the coast, or sunny part of Australia, if you like, to warm up the winter blues. And it was fantastic to talk, and we talked a lot about colour, obviously product, projects, and the wonderful portfolio of products that we have available to beautify a space. But not only that, we really were able to talk, I guess you could say, a lot about Colorsmith, and we had a little bit of a workshop. So hi to everybody if you're tuning in to Rare. We'll say hello to you all. A little bit of a workshop with what you can do with Colorsmith and how you can use it in a practical sense, I guess. So I want to, I'm going to focus a little bit on Colorsmith tonight, because I think that from doing what we did on within the workshop, etc., I think there's an opportunity there to talk a little bit about it and to show you how we can use it in a practical sense when you're talking about colours for your exterior. And we also went to a fantastic place called the Burleigh, sorry, I'm looking, I've got photos coming in, the Burleigh Beach Shack, and oh my, what a wonderful, wonderful dwelling that we were lucky enough to visit. And Rachel, if you are watching, thank you very much for having us. And it was fabulous to see that the Taubmans Colorsmith had been used again in the most marvellous way to create some beautiful, beautiful colours. So that's why I thought, you know what, I'm going to bring out Colorsmith tonight, and I'm seeing so many wonderful applications of colour with the use of this tool. So I'm going to talk a lot about it. So if you are, let's just step back a moment. So if you're going to start and you're painting the exterior of your home, there's a few questions that I think are really good to take into consideration. So the first question, if you're building a new home, I am going to say to you, you know, are you wanting a light or a dark roof? Think about that. That's a really good starting point. The next thing, if you're renovating, painting, etc., an existing dwelling, I'm going to also say to you, what parts of the dwelling, or, you know, for example, are the window frames staying that colour? And if they are, we need to take that into consideration when we are designing the exterior colour of our space. So, and also, if you're introducing something new, etc., you need to incorporate it in a way so that it works with, you know, what you've already got happening. Or if you're going to be renovating and you are sort of starting from scratch, etc., go out and find something that you love, that you want to incorporate into your design, and then build upon that for a color scheme. So there's a few good little tips there. So I'm going to come back to Colorsmith and show you something that I've created with the use of it and a couple of tiles, because I've been out and about, and after being down on the Gold Coast and also having a look around and seeing what people are doing with their spaces, and also going to the Burleigh Beach Shack where they use some beautiful tiles. That's my inspiration for tonight. So I do have a question. I'm just going to have a look here. Okay, Phoebe, I do have your question here. Thank you. You will post a photo of the render of our new build afterwards. So a question as to which white, please keep an eye out for it. I will, but can I ask you, so this is something for you to think about, are you wanting to paint all of the render white, or are we just looking for white for trims or something? So if you give me a little bit more, I can certainly give you some more information. Okay. And also, okay, Phoebe, I'm reading what else has come through on the feed here. You're saying that you also would like a green front door, something sagey, frosted, but strong. Great, okay, I'll take you through that as well. So I might just wait until you come back to me, or until I can see your photo, and then I can answer that a bit more. Okay, and okay, Carla, thank you very much for joining us. So your question is, I have an old Victorian cottage and some of the rooms are dark, looking for a warm white wall colour. Okay, so very good. If you have dark rooms, you are better off to start with a warm white. It's just, if you go too cool, or if you use a white that is, let's say, more on the grey side, so a lot cooler, it can tend to make the room feel a bit gloomy. So going for something a little bit warmer is always a really good starting point. So I'm just going to take you to our website. So I'm going to change screens here, and I'll pop myself up in the corner, and it worked. Fantastic. So where are we, Carla? If you go to taubmans.com.au, so this is our website, and you can see it here on the screen, and you can see where it says colours. So click on where it says paint colours, and then you can scroll down. Now the beauty of this is it has been put together so that it is extremely easy to navigate, and the colours have been grouped or put into colour families, so it gives you somewhere to start. So I'm going to select whites and neutrals. And what also is really, really good about this website is the fact that the colours, as you can see, are on a white backdrop. So it makes it easier when you're looking at colour. If it's up against white, you can actually see the true, if you like, hue, or the true tint that actually sits within the colour. So I'm just going to, let's have a look here. So we're wanting something a little bit warmer and something that's not too cool. So as you can see here, up the top, we're starting off quite light. There is a beautiful colour. Our number one white, or our most popular white, is, as you can see here, crisp white. Crisp white is certainly something that I would say have a look at. It is beautiful. It works in many environments and many applications. And I think that if you were to start with that, you won't be disappointed. If you're wanting something slightly warmer, you could certainly look to, let's have a look down here. I don't want to give you too much colour if your room is a little bit gloomy as such, but I'm happy to give you a little bit more warmth. So China Beige is I'm dropping my mic there. China Beige is also quite a nice colour, along with Chalkstone. So if you're working sort of in the realms of that, looking at that and looking onto the screen here, something like that's quite warm. But what I would do is I would start with crisp white. I'm going to come back onto the screen here now. Beautiful. I would start with crisp white, and what I recommend, and I recommend you do this no matter what color you are wanting to place within the interior or even exterior of your environment, is get yourself a large piece of cardboard, and you want the piece to be at least 1 meter by 1 meter square. Get yourself a sample pot, brush out 3 coats onto the piece of cardboard, and move the cardboard around the room, different times of day, different areas. So move it up to the top of the ceiling, down near the floor. Look at it natural daylight, and also look at it when you have artificial lighting on, so you can see how the color is going to work for you within that space. That's probably the best tip that I can give you. But yeah, start with those. And certainly if you have a look at those and you're wanting some more information, please feel free to hop back onto the feed, ask some more questions, or jump back onto when we're back online again. Okay, what else do I have? Okay, I'm just seeing if Phoebe has come back to me. All right, I'm going to take you now to, I want to take you and show you, I'm going to pop you on the screen here and take you and show you Colorsmith, because I want to show you what I've been doing. So I'm going to use, if you're wanting the best match possible, this is what I would use, which is the Colorsmith reader. And it has a little, you can see the little, in here it has an LED light source, so it will give you a fantastic match. So I want to show you, I've been out shopping. I was very inspired from being down at the Gold Coast this weekend. So I've been out shopping, I've been to my local tile place, and I thought I'm going to have a look at some tiles and have a look and see if I can create some beautiful tones just to show you how you can use this device. So tile number 1, I love this tile, it is fabulous. And the tone of this is just beautiful. So I guess you could say, again, because I am asked so much, and I will emphasize so much when I'm out and about colours for, you know, a Hamptons coastal feel. It is still very, very much on trend, and I know we were talking about this sometime last year, but it is still there. So I've sort of gone, and I guess you could say that the colours that we are creating tonight are sort of on that theme. And this is another tile that I also picked up, which I think is beautiful, and the tone within here is just divine. So I've got 2 beautiful tiles. So I'm going to start, I'll start with this one. So while I'm getting my little Colorsmith device paired, I'm going to pop on the screen, if you want to join me, I'm going to pop on the screen some QR codes where you can download Colorsmith. So I'll pop that there, and I'll pop myself back in the corner. So I'll give you a moment while I just get the I just get my little Colorsmith reader happening here. Beautiful, that should be enough. So let me just take you to, so Colorsmith, we can see the app here. Oops, let's go home. So there is the Colorsmith app. So the way that my Colorsmith reader works is if you download the app, and then you pair, this pairs via Bluetooth, you pair this to the app itself, then you can start creating colours. Now there are also 2 other ways that you can do it. You can do it with a photo, and you can also use the Colorsmith window. But for tonight, I really want to show you what I can do with this, or what you can do with this, I should say. So again, here's my tile. So I have now, I'm going to, actually, I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'm going to double tap on the bottom, and you can see it is now flashing blue. So it's going to now connect to my device. So, and you can see on the screen that it's saying connect device, connect to a new device, connect to a black Colorsmith reader. Yep, beautiful. Okay, we are connected. So now what I'm going to do is pop my reader onto the tile. I want to extract the beautiful green, if you like, the green-grey sort of tone that's sitting within the tile. And I'm going to hit create from match and then scan color. Look at that. As you can see on the screen, it has given me an excellent match, so I'm extremely happy with that. So the next thing I'm going to do, because I'm very, very happy with that, I'm going to hit select. So now this is the fun part. I can save my color. I mean, I can start to manipulate my color, but I'll just take you through this first. So I can save my color. So I hit save my color, and now I get to name it. So the beauty of Colorsmith is that no matter whether you are homeowner, you're a renovator, you're an interior designer, you're a painter, you're a maintenance person, you work for a real estate agent, or you're a DIYer, this is for everybody. So what am I going to call this? It's a beautiful color. I think I might call it something like a soft sage. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go save color. So here it is. It's saved now. So now what I really love about this is, for me, I use a program called SketchUp, etc. And, you know, I want to superimpose, I might draw a building up, which I'll show you in a moment. I want to superimpose colors. So where it's got the RGB, I can use that. It gives me color values like the LRV, the light reflectance value, which is really important when you are talking about, for example, painting a front door, or if you are creating a beautiful white or you're using white for the exterior, the LRV comes into play, because you do not want the white to be too bright and glary. So if you are ever looking at a white and you're stuck and you're not sure, look at the LRV. So here I've created this color. The next thing I can do, so I can hit order install. So what it does is it populates a QR code. So within that QR code there that you can see on the screen, that contains the recipe, if you like, or all of the information to create that color. And where it says share, so I can hit share, and I can share that across all of my social media platforms. I can airdrop it, I can text, email, etc. So it is fantastic. So if you're at home creating a color and you're, you know, one-on-one with your local paint store, you can text it to, you know, one of the paint team members, etc., and they can create the color for you. So very, very easy to use. So I'm going to arrow back. Now the next thing, when you are shopping for color or you're looking at color, we talk about creating cohesive color schemes and making sure that all of the colors that you're putting together are tonally correct. Now I'm big on that. I like all of the colors that I'm putting within a color scheme, etc., to all work, and or when they sit side by side, I need them to all work together beautifully. So with Colorsmith, I've created a color. I can hit combinations and it brings up a color palette of colors that are designed to work with that color. So it takes away the angst of, oh, I'm going to use this, what am I going to put with it? Because here it all is. You know, you might be styling a home for sale, so to speak, and you've painted a wall in a particular color, and you're going, you know, what sort of furnishings, etc., can I pop in there for a pop of color? You can use Colorsmith for that. Now the other thing as well, you can, as you can see here where I am, you can lessen the intensity, heighten the intensity, etc., and create a monochromatic color scheme. Or you can go into similar, and if you hit similar, this is where, as I'll do now, it's kind of like adding a little bit more white or a little bit more black. So you can play around with the tone of the color if you like. So that's what you can do with it. So it's amazing. So from this tile, I can create this color, and then I can create a color scheme from that. So again, I'm going to show you now from the next tile, and then I'll come and answer. I've got a few questions coming up here, so I'll quickly show you so then I can take you through what I've put together. So again, another beautiful tile, and I'm going to pop it on there. I'm going to go scan color. Oh, beautiful. Here we go again. So I love the tone that it has created. So I'm going to hit select. And again, if you look down at that bottom row of colours, you can see how out of all of those tones there, you know, I could use the first, second, third, fourth if I wanted to, and the fifth, all in one colour scheme, if you like, for that beautiful monochromatic look. And I can do that very successfully. So this time I'm going to save my colour, and I'm going to call it, I don't know what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it, let's just call it, I'm going to call it Hampton's Green. It's a kind of a greeny grey tone, but we'll get that, that'll do. Okay, so again, I can go into my combinations and look at the colours that are available to use there. And in particular, I really do like in the middle row, second one down, and in the first row, if you look at the fourth one down, but not even, you could look in the first row and going down to the second from the bottom, and even, oh my goodness, you could use all of them if you wanted to. But I could create from that a beautiful colour scheme. I could use the Hampton green, perhaps all over the, if I had a house with, let's just guess, with weatherboards, etc., or I could use it as a front door colour. So I want to show you now. I will just come back on screen just for a moment. Awesome. Just in case I have a technical failure, I don't want to be leaving you all sitting there for a minute. I've done that before. So we'll go back, put myself in the corner. We'll go to the iPad this time. So from that, so here's something I prepared earlier. Okay, something I prepared earlier. So I drew up a Hampton style home, just an elevation, and I created earlier on today some colours from utilising the tile. So from the first colour scheme, I used that tile there, so the darker one. I scanned it and I created a colour called Stormy Grey. And then I've used that on the boards. I went into the combinations function and created a colour called Deep Blue. And then the lighter tone was actually extracted from the light tone in the tile. So just to give you an idea of what you can do with it, and, you know, to give you a visual of how the colours can look. Oops. The next one again was using, this one was using the light tile. I scanned, and as you can see in the top corner there is a colour called Sophisticated Sage. I've scanned that and then used that colour to, what have I done there? Let me just get that right. I've scanned that, created that tone. I've also gone into the combinations and selected a colour called Grey Sage and Hampton's Blue. And as you can see there on the boards there, the Grey Sage and then the Hampton's Blue adorns the front door. Again, back to the light tone there, you can see the Sophisticated Sage is on the front door. Seaside Grey is actually on the boards. It's a very, very light tone. And then we've used the Hampton's Blue for trims. This is just to give you an idea. And then back to the first tile that we used. Stormy Grey I've used on the front door for trims, and I've also used Sea Mist on the weatherboards, and the Sea Mist was the light colour extracted out of the tile. So that's just to give you an idea of what you can actually do with Colorsmith. So I will just come back just so that you can see that, you know, you can create some really beautiful colour schemes. And if you are embarking on an exterior journey and you're really not sure where to start, think about what stays within the exterior. So what you're not going to change, whether it be window frames, etc., and use that to build a colour scheme from. And when we were actually on the Gold Coast, we used a colour called Deep Ocean, and we created a beautiful colour scheme right down to a pink front door. So you can actually create some magical colours. So I'm going to go back to some questions now, because I do have quite a few here. Hi David, thank you for your question. And yes, there is a colour name for the base white in the tins is called Brilliant White. So, and you'll see that on our colour wall, there generally is a Brilliant White colour chip. And if you are looking at other colours, or you're looking at whites, etc., while you are, and you're trying to choose a particular white, pop it up against the Brilliant White colour chip, and then you can see the undertone of the other whites. Okay, so hi Amanda, thank you very much for joining our session. So you're doing a Luxe Hamptons rebuild and can't figure out whether to do a white or grey blue or combo facade. For a combo, what colours would you recommend? Immediately, and I've said this many times, there is a particular colour that I think is absolutely beautiful when we're talking about doing a Hamptons. And I'm just going to see if I can get it up on the screen before I, yep. So I'll jump to my laptop and pop myself up in the corner. Okay, so back to taubmans.com.au. Amanda, this is where you can find a great range of our colours. So if you hop onto our website, hop onto colours, select paint colours, what will come up is the library or the family of colours. They've been grouped to make it really easy to navigate. So the colour that I'm going to show you sits under greys and blacks, and it's actually called Oyster Bar. And it is, let me just see if I can find it here. I've probably gone past it. Oh, maybe it just doesn't want to play tonight. Maybe it's me. I'll pop it up there. Here we go. So let me just show you it in its entirety. That is the most beautiful, moody blue-grey tone, and it is very, very fitting for when we talk about Hamptons, and I recommend this quite a lot. I think it is stunning. And if you were to put, I'd use a very crisp white with it, and so you could use Taubmans crisp white, or even for trims you could also use brilliant white. I'm happy to recommend brilliant white when we're talking about trims because it does give you that really bright white, but if I'm talking about all over facades, etc., you won't hear me talking about brilliant white because it is just too bright. But for trims up against the Oyster Bar, beautiful. Another colour that you could team with this is Taubmans South Pole as well. They work really, really well. Have a look at that to start off with. If you're wanting some more information, Amanda, I'll be online for another half an hour once I finish streaming in a few minutes, and I'm happy to help you further. Thanks. Let me just see what I have here. Okay, Phoebe, I'm looking at your pictures, but you're saying you don't know how, okay, sorry, let's not read all of that. So you've got black window, surf mist roof, surf mist panels in fencing, green front door. Okay, so you're going to have surf mist and black and a surf mist roof. Okay, so if you're thinking of which white to have for the facade, if you've already got surf mist, you could certainly look to use surf mist again. Can you tell me, Phoebe, are you wanting to go a little bit darker than surf mist, or give me a little bit more indication of where we're going with that, and then I can come back with a beautiful green. So there are some magical greens that we have within our colours. I've just got my fan deck here. Let me just take myself back here. I have a habit of not taking myself off the screen. I'll get back into the swing of it. We've got some beautiful, beautiful greens. And I'm thinking if you're going for a Hamptons feel and you're using surf mist, I'm thinking of giving you a green which has a slight, more of a blue undertone as opposed to a yellow undertone. So I'll just quickly go back to colours. And let me just see if it's going to sit under blue or green before I bring you up on screen. All right, let's go here. All right, so Phoebe, as I've been saying tonight, so if you go to taubmans.com.au, hit colours and then have a look at the colour families. I'm now on the blue colour family and I'm just taking myself down here. If you have a look at, these are beautiful tones. I know I use that word a lot, but they are. I'm in love with these sort of tones that sit along this side. Have a look at Babbling Stream, Blue Willow. You could even look at Mountain Stream. working within the realms of that, I think, works particularly well when we're talking about doing a Hamptons facade. And especially if you're teaming it already with surf mist, it's going to work extremely well. You could go down into silver mink, that's getting a little bit darker. But I would also recommend when you are, I'll come back on screen, when you are looking to do a particular colour or a coloured front door, I would recommend using Taubmans water-based enamel in a gloss. Now, when you gloss a colour up, it tends to come to life, so to speak. And the best way to see that for yourself is if you get yourself a colour chip and down half of the side of the colour chip, put some clear tape, and you'll see how the light reflects and you'll be able to see how the colour becomes more intense. So before I finish up, and I will continue answering questions, I know it's time for me to hop off the screen, but I do want to show you something very quickly, which is our new trends. So this is our Taubmans trends that is sitting on our colour walls at the moment. We've got Hamptons. These are beautiful. Hamptons, Scandinavian colour palette. We also have Contemporary, and we also have Bold. These are beautiful, and the colours were made with Colorsmith. I know I've been talking a lot about Colorsmith tonight, but I'd encourage you to grab one of these from your local hardware, local Bunnings store. Grab one of these off the colour wall and have a look. Definitely well worth a look. All right, that concludes me being in front of the screen, and I will, as I said, continue answering colour questions when I'm offline or off screen. So I'd like to thank you all for joining us again tonight. It's fabulous to have you with us. It's fabulous to be back on screen after a break. As I said earlier on when I first got on, if you missed last week's session, I'd encourage you to have a look. It was fantastic. We had an interview with Carlene Duffy, and it's well worth having a look. Fabulous insight to colour from her and some wonderful tips. Anyway, that concludes. Have a fantastic evening, a wonderful week, and as I always say, happy painting. Bye.